Good morning, everybody. It's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 Majors Notes update for the 15th of June 2011. Going to be starting with the Euro against US dollar on our CTC strategy. Let's have a look at the daily. Okay, yesterday, spinning top close yesterday for the Euro. Let's have a look here. So, we can draw a major trend this way. We can draw a major trend that way. Ideally, the more touches, the stronger it is. So we could ideally look at that as being the major trend, and our minor is this one. Seen a prior resistance, all-time high, roughly around the 1480-500 mark, and we've had a lower swing since then. So you can see the intermediate trend is down. We are now down over the past 5 days or so. Yes, barring Monday's reversal, we saw a bounce at a previous support and resistance level, and we've seen price revert to the upside. However, that's been short-lived, and since then we've seen price form a spinning top yesterday on the 50 and 20 period moving average on the daily time frame, and then Asian market open, and going into the European session open this morning, we're also seeing a bearish engulfing of that candle. So if we see price closing well below yesterday's candle, then we could see a reattempt of the previous swing or support area that we saw 2 days ago, and that'll be roughly around the 1430-200 mark. Prior resistance and support in that area. So got to try, if this is to bounce off this period, this support area here, and to rally, it needs to find support and obviously close higher than this indecision candle here, the spinning top. So ideally, if we see another bullish candle here, similar to this, or even better, something like that, then obviously we're going to be heading up towards at least the 14600 mark on this pair or this time frame. So let's have a look intraday. So price needs to stay well above the low of yesterday, the open, so at 1441.30. So let's put that in, 1441.30. Let's go to our hourly. There we go. So it's got to stay well above that area there, 1431. And you can see how price was moving steadily, swinging higher, beautiful swing highs, a lot of wicks. Notice the volatility on an hourly chart, but nonetheless a nice higher swing. And then we had a breakout yesterday just before the US session close, and then going into the Asian market open, and we've seen a break lower, a shooting star formation, a break lower, pullback, and we're trading roughly around the 61.8% fib area. 100% would be a full move of the prior, and 161 would be the next target, and then we're looking for further downside movement on this pair. For the hourly time frame, notice the CTC has just gone, well, it is red now by the bottom one. You'll notice it's gone blue again, so we need this indecision here, and you can see over the last couple of hours we've had a lot of indecision candles. You need to see a break lower than that, 1440-100, to see any downside movement. 50 period moving average is acting as a support level as we speak. A failure of that support level, we'll see price fall down even lower, and we could see at least the 1438.50 mark being tested, as that was a prior support and resistance level in the past. So those will be the targets. However, see a bounce and close higher on this level here at the 1440-100, then we could see price reattempting the highs again, and what we're seeing is just a pullback. There we go. Let me get rid of that fib. We're just seeing a pullback after support was formed, pullback, and that's happening on the 50% fib projection. So bullish movement, pullback, are we going to see a continuation higher from here? So 144100 needs to be the support area. Closed lower than that would obviously be closing below the 50, and then we should be looking for shorting opportunities to at least the first target on here would be 143800. Second target way down there at 143200. Next pair this morning is the UK sterling against the US dollar. Let's have a look at the daily. Very interesting one this. You can see that we've had a bounce, a major trend for this pair. You can notice that we are definitely on the upside, and we've tested this trend line on numerous occasions. 1600 was the major one to do so. We had a lot of support and resistance, or a lot of support on this time frame back in the early parts of this year, and then we saw a push higher, and subsequently we've seen a lot of pullbacks and reattempts in as many weeks, and then we are now on another pullback. Notice the swings. Price yesterday rallied quite significantly but failed to close higher than the intermediate trend. Notice that this resistance level here, we had a bullish candle taking back everything that it lost the prior day, and then we saw yesterday rallying really high but ultimately closing lower during the latter part of the US session. Does this mean that we're going to see another bearish candle because it's a failure at a resistance level? Is this a shooting star formation? Here we go, long wicks at the top, more action happening at the bottom, and we've seen selling. While daily we see a close lower than the low of yesterday's candle at 16,3600, take you below the 20-period moving average on this time frame. Make it at least the 16,3500, then we're definitely going to be seeing a bearish engulfing to the downside, and what we'll do is be seeing price reverting, and a reattempt of this trend line could be in play very soon. So ideally, if this is going to cancel, then obviously we need to close higher, and ideally close higher than the intermediate trend. So anything closing higher than 16,400 would definitely confirm that we're probably seeing more of a bullish influence down. We could see a break higher, and then we could be looking at potentially the previous swings as targets. So that would be your first target, and second target ultimately up here at 16,500, and then the all-time high here at 1670. So break and close higher than 16,400 would take us, would see us retesting the intermediate trend, but it'll be giving us confirmation that the momentum is still up, because we've seen a break, an attempt and failure, and then we're doing another attempt quite soon afterwards. It's confirming that the bulls are still interested in going higher. For price to revert to the downside today, we'll tell you that the momentum isn't that strong, and we just had a failed attempt to the upside, and we should be looking for further downside movement. But if price is able to reattempt today, and it's confirming that the momentum is still strong to the upside, and we should be looking for higher highs. So very interesting. Close below 16,3500 during the course of today will definitely confirm that we're looking for further shorting opportunities for this pair. If we look at our intraday charts, look at the hourly, for example, you notice the swing lows from the high, and we've now had a break above that. A consolidation is still trading above at 16,3600. We've had a price support, and it's been finding support here as we've gone into the Asian market trading, and now it's bounced higher. The 50-period moving average has moved under it. CTC, however, is negative. You'll notice that the 200-period moving average is there. So strong support here. If it can stay above 16,3600, failure to find support at 16,3600 would see price breaking lower, and we should see shorting opportunity. So as long as it's trading higher than 16,3600, notice strong support level. Then we could see further upside movement for this pair. Failure and a close lower than 16,3600 would definitely confirm that we're looking for shorting opportunities, and we should be looking for selling at least to 16,2800, and ultimately way down here at the prior support that we saw not so long ago at 16,2200. So keep that in mind, guys. Pair has found support. If you look at the momentum yesterday or the past couple of days and the pullback, that pullback has now taken us on to the 38.2 fib retracement area on the fib. So you can stay above 38.2, and then we're going to be looking at just a pullback and then a continuation in the trend that it came from. The next pair is the US dollar against Swiss franc. Let's have a look at this. Daily time frame. Notice the support level at the 83,500 mark, and price is bouncing higher. It stalled at the first swing and pulled back. Yesterday's candle, bullish engulfing. We saw price on the Asia market today trading higher. It's gone as high as the previous swing. Here we go. Just under the 80,4,900 mark, and we've seen price trading slightly to the downside now since then, but also testing the previous, the first moving average at 20-period moving average. So, and you can see the price direction on this pair is still very much negative. CTC is well extended to the downside. We are definitely in a negative trend. Major trend is very negative, and we're seeing a consolidation for the US dollar against Japanese yen, and it obviously needs to be trading well above 80, a close higher than 80.50, which and the 20-period moving average would definitely bode well, because then we could look at the previous swing, in this case prior one here at the 86,100 mark as a potential target, which will take us roughly to the trend line again for this pair. So look for a close higher, and then we could look at a potential trade to at least the 86,100 mark for this pair for the rest of this week. Intraday, you look at the 30-minute, for example. We've seen a breakout as of 5:30 a.m. GMT this morning, and we've seen a slight pullback. This breakout has occurred roughly around a price support resistance. If price can actually find support now above this area at 84.55 or 84.60 and kick on, then we're looking for further extensions higher. A failure to do so and a break lower will just confirm that this is just a fake out, just faking people into the trade, and then we're seeing price revert to the downside. We do have bounces. You can see that the trend on the 30 minutes, you can see price actually bounced off it this morning, making higher highs. So we know the swing direction, the CTC's in our favor, and all the moving averages are below price. So we know that's all great. We're seeing a pullback as we speak. If that pullback can stay above the 84.55, the 84.60 mark, then we could definitely see price rallying higher. And on our time frame, then we could be looking at a potential close well above that area I mentioned earlier on this pair in the 84.50 mark for the latter part of this week. The last pair of the day is US dollar against Japanese yen. Let's have a look at the daily time frame for this pair. Here again, 80 was a strong support area, and we've seen price playing with it recently. A couple days, price was broken through and then pulled back bullishly, and now we've seen price kick on to the upside. And you can see swing high yesterday has been formed. So indecision, decision candle, and we've seen price carry on from that. So ideally the next target for this pair, if it continues to the upside, is this prior support here, which is quite a strong one. Resistance, apologies, and support in the past at the 81.56 mark. So intraday 81.56. 80.81. So let's have a look at that on our 4-hour. Around that area, price. So you can see the price support bouncing the breakout, and then you can see price on the 4-hour finding high swings. So we know the momentum's now to the upside. Be aware though that the high that we saw in Asian market this morning on the 13th is in play. Prices failed to break above it 1, 2, 3. So on 12 hours, prices fell to really higher than that point there at 80, the 80-50-50 mark. So 55. So there's quite a strong resistance level at this level, don't you think? So it needs to at least close higher than that. And if it's been failing to close higher than that over the past number of days. Does that signal that the downtrend is still in play? However, if you look at it quite closely, the downtrend for this time frame has been breached. So interesting. We've now had a break higher. This is just a consolidation on the other side of this downtrend for this time frame. Are we going to kick higher? If we kick higher, then you can see the 200 period moving average, just a little blip of it at 80.80 is there, and that could potentially be our next target, but it needs to close higher than this level here on a 4-hour time frame. If we can see it close higher than the 80.55 mark, then we're definitely going to be looking for further upside movement. Failure to do so, we could obviously see price pulling down, reverting to the downside, and then we're looking at potential trades to the downside, with our first target being roughly around the 80.20 mark, because we've been in the past and that was our previous swing. So keep that in mind, guys. So going into the smaller time frames, here's the 55 mark. You can see the price has failed to actually, once it's broken that, it's failed to continue to the upside, and we've seen pullbacks. So a very strong seeding level at this area, and so we need to see a break higher than that, and the CTC to be in my favor to even think about going long on this pair. Otherwise, what we do is just be faked in, only for price to go against us, and then we'll be in a losing trade. So very important, this pair needs to be closing above 80.55 quite bullishly. At least a close above 80.65 would definitely confirm further upside movement for this pair. Failure to do so would just confirm that we are seeing a fake out, and then we're going to have a pullback, and then the reattempt of the prior swing, which is roughly down here just below the 80.15 mark, would be our first target. Second target all the way down here at 79.895 for this pair, and back to the 80 mark that we've seen as a strong support daily for this as our next target. If failure to break above 80.55, or even to make it even clear, you can see the wicks here, a definite bullish engulfing, and trade higher than 80.65 would definitely confirm that we're going long. Failure to do so, then we're looking for an opportunity to the downside. That's it, chaps. Hope you have a fantastic trading day today. Make sure that you follow the rules of the CTC if you are using it. Make sure your money management complements that trading time frame that you're trading, and we don't want to be trading with an adverse risk-reward ratio. And most importantly, keep your trading simple. Look for rather budget time, wait for the market to make its move, and then we act accordingly. And most importantly, trade serenely.